into a few favourites because I always find this quite weird. I hear, especially with the history of horse racing, there's a lot of it comes from quite a gypsy culture, and then it's come down and things like that. So I want to just ask you: do jockeys have a lot of superstitions and things like that? Do you have any particular superstitions?
Some jockeys are very superstitious. Some of them wear jewelry that has, patron saint of whatever on it and things like that. And mostly a lot of the Irish ones, because obviously a lot of Irish jockeys, they're quite religious, and so they can be quite superstitious. But the only superstition that I have, and like most jockeys, in fact all jockeys would be like this, is if you're wearing new gear, new kit, you have to stamp on it.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, just to get it a little bit dirty, and because it's bad luck to ride in brand new stuff. So that's
are you talking like shirt and hat, or are you talking like vest and things like that?
Anything that you wear when you're riding. So if it's brand, obviously it has to be new at some point. So it's brand new, you take it out the packet, and you're not allowed to do it yourself. Though you have to get one of the other jockeys or the valets to do it, and they have to stamp on it, and it's something that nearly every jockey in the weighing room does, and that's the only thing, as I say, that everybody does. There's certain people that have their own little things, but that would be the only one that I'd worry about. And I think it's more peer pressure than anything. I thought if they didn't do it, I wouldn't do it. But I thought, well, if I don't do it and I get a bad fall, then I'm going to blame the fact that I didn't stand on the stuff. So
I was gonna say, I love the thought of you chucking on all this like brand new gear, thinking this is nice, and everybody else looking at you, and do you want me to stand on that for you?
Yeah.
What are the maniacs asking me to do?
Yeah, that's the first thing. You say, "Oh, I'll stand on that for you." You're, what? I remember, I do remember the first time, and they're like literally grabbing it off me, trying to stand, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And that's what it is. It's just the superstitions that they have. So. It's just something that you learn. As I say, everybody does it, and it's I don't even know where it came from, but it's somebody must have started it at some point.
Has that gone into sort of tradition of, do you ask the more higher up jockeys to stand on it as like a rite of passage? Like, I would like, how you almost get other players get each other to sign their shirts. Do you go, say, for a listener, AP McCoy, AP, I'd be honoured if you could stand on this shirt for me, or do you just go to the guy next to you in the weighing room and go, can you stand on that for us?
I just got the guy next to me. I would never have been brave enough to ask AP McCoy to do it. But no, you just got the guy next to you. But yeah, it would have been nice. You could have AP McCoy's footprint on your new breeches. That'd have been. You could have sold them. I was
gonna say I wouldn't even wear them out. They'd be straight in a frame.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching now next time at the Grand National or something. I'm going to be looking for the footmark on every jockey, because they always come out looking so pristine in the big parades. Yeah. And now I'll know that there's two footprints somewhere on everything.
Well, I'll tell you something. There'll not be one jockey in that weighing room that wears something new in the Grand National, whether they stood in it or not. No,
really? No, bad luck to wear.
No. They always try and wear new gear, like in a low key race somewhere where it doesn't matter, because they just. Right. I don't know why they think it's bad luck, but they say it's in everybody's heads. I
love the thought of Sue sending you to some place like, I don't know, either air or something for just 2 rides, and you turn up with a bag of brand new kit, and she's just got her head in her hands like, oh no.
Yeah, well, something bad's gonna happen today.
I know, she's just already packing up the cart. It's like, I'll just go home now.
Yeah, we may as well go home. There's no point. There's no hope. He's got a load of new stuff. There's no chance. I've ridden winners with new gear on. Like it's not always a thing, but honestly it is. If you get a fall when you're wearing new gear, it is the first thing you blame. Doesn't matter if it was your fault, the horse's fault. You just blame the new gear. That's their fault. So.
Yeah, quite right. And then, especially when you go back to Sue or something like that, you're like, oh, new shoes, Sue, sorry, it won't happen again. That's there. Yeah, I'll see you in half an hour for the next race.
Yeah, jockeys always get, they get slagged off for always having some good excuses. Now that would be a good excuse. Oh yeah, sorry, it was a new gear that did it. It wasn't me.
Right, Ryan, I come from the world of rugby. I don't think anything that's gone bad has ever been my fault on a rugby pitch. Don't you worry. I've got 14 other bodies to blame.
I was going to say, yeah, at least you have 14 other people to blame. Like as a jockey, you've only got yourself to blame. So we're kind of limited in that one.
Ryan, I don't know if you also have a massive steed in between your legs that has a complete free rein of its own. So it's not entirely your fault.
Yeah, but they're supposed to do as they're told, though, aren't they? So we're more likely to get blamed before the horse does, unfortunately.
True, but I've seen enough horses in the local fields to know that if that thing decided to go left, I'm not influencing it to go right in any way.
But that's what we're paid to try and do, to try and keep it on the straight and narrow. But I know it doesn't always work, but yeah, we do try.
You do a damn sight better than most looking at your statistics and looking at ride. So I'm not gonna blame you in any way, shape, or form. Talking at Scott, have you ever had? I mean, this might be completely not true or anything, but have you ever had a favorite horse, or is there a particular horse that you've raced and thought I quite like him or her?
There's probably been too many over the years, but you know, there's obviously the one that means the most to me is Aurora's Encore because of what we achieved. But he's probably not my favorite horse, like personality. And I don't suppose I could really put my finger on it, but there's so many, when you ride so many horses and you become attached to some and not others, and it's not necessarily the best ones that you become attached to, it's just the ones that try the hardest or they're the nicest personalities. But as I say, I can't really put my finger on what would be my favorite, but certainly Aurora's Encore means the most. Every time I go down, like he lives here where I am tonight, and every time I go down the field to see him, there's always very nearly a tear in my eye. It's like always like a real nice reunion. Because it was a special day. So yeah, he's definitely a special horse.
Are the kids old enough to understand the relationship between you and Aurora's Encore yet? Obviously, no, with your child being called Aurora, but
yeah, well, she's started now understanding that I'm a jockey and things. So she talks to me about it, but she doesn't quite understand that part yet. And she's met Aurora's Encore once, but not since she was old enough to remember. So she actually needs to see him again soon. And hopefully she'll understand a bit more then. And not that she'll necessarily remember, but we'll have to get her down to see him every year, because he's getting older. So,
he must be. What is he? How old is he now?
He'll be 17 or 18.
No.
And horses, they can get to 25 or something. They can live a long life, but from now on in, anything can happen. He is getting old, so we need to,
exactly.
give him love and cuddles whilst he's still here.
Any animal that wants love and cuddles is always a favorite. You'll never have to go too far to find somebody that wants to give a horse a cuddle.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Well, that's of course, unless they're scared of them. I see enough people that won't go near them. But what's that? The film, Sherlock Holmes film, when he said he doesn't like to ride horses.
Oh yeah, the Robert Downey Jr. one.
Yeah, because I can't remember what the hell the saying is now, because it was spot on though. It was they're dangerous at both ends and crafty in the middle or something. It was something like that, and it's 100%. They can be, they can bite, they can kick, and even when you're sitting on their backs, you're not safe. So it's they can be tricky.
I was just always taught never stand directly behind them, and if you're feeding them, make sure your palm's open, otherwise they'll take a finger as well.
Yeah. Well, you've been taught well.
Exactly. We have we're quite lucky. We have a small state, not a racing stable. We have a little one just at the bottom of the hill, and then if we're ever feeling nice in the summer, we walk up with some carrots or something. And
that's good. Yeah.
I don't know if the owner is listening to this. I think I know them, so they'll probably be going, "Can you feed them a horse carrots?" The horse seems to like it. So
yeah, the horses will love it. They'll be fine.
Exactly. We're saving them money on feed as well. It's an expensive hobby having a horse.
It is very expensive. Yeah, very expensive.
Yeah. So speaking of favourite horses, do you have favourite tracks? For I know for myself as a rugby player, there were certain pitches I preferred playing to others. Do you have favourite tracks or?
Kelso, like 100% Kelso. Not only because it's my local, but I've had the most winners around there. I just like riding around there, and that's first and foremost my favourite track. But apart from that, it's not the only track. I don't like Musselburgh. I hate Musselburgh.
Really?
Yeah, I hate it. It's like it's sharp and like you go too fast. The ground's never soft. never, probably mostly because it doesn't really suit the horses that I ride. You know,
right, okay, yeah.
It suits your flat racy type of horses, whereas the trainers I ride for usually have your big national hunt type. So I've never had a lot of luck around there. I've had a few winners, but not a lot of luck. I don't like that.
Sorry, carry on. I
don't like Wassup.
Yeah. I'll just make the title of the podcast. Ryan Mania hates Wassup.
Ryan Mania hates Wassup. Yeah, well, I do tell the managing director that every time I'm there, I'm like, yeah, I hate this place. So don't ask me to promote your race course. Although I will say they do a great job at running the race course. It's not their fault, you know, the way the track is. That's just personal preference. So
I don't know if you're the right person to ask. Does the sea affect it in any way, shape, or form? Obviously, with it being right on the coast, does the wind or that get up?
Not necessarily the sea, but because it's next to the sea, the turf, the soil is sandy. Which is why the ground never gets very soft. So it means that you get sort of good ground all year round. But as I say, that doesn't often suit the horses that I ride. They all want softer ground. So that's you end up going too bloody fast round it, and I don't like it. Slow the goal, we better.
Exactly.
So much better.
Especially when you're doing your 3 or 4 milers, and you're like, why is my horse having to sprint around this?
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. How's that?
Perfect.
You hear me good? You all right?
Quite fat.
Mate, it's fine. The camera has 13 pounds, which is what I tell myself every time.
Yeah, there was a trainer I had a winner for a couple of weeks ago. He used to be a jockey, and he got interviewed after the race. And his shirt, you know, he was wearing a shirt that was too small for him, and he was about popping out of it. And he said his wife phoned him up and said, Jesus, what were you wearing that shirt for? He says, TV must add £10, and he was like, I think how many cameras were on me?
That's brilliant. I was gonna just be back in, but I actually quite like that story, so I might try and keep it in. For those that are just a bit wondering there why it sounds a bit clip, Ryan's iPad moved. I got a bit technical difficulty, but he finished at a lovely time, so we're back in now, so we're all good. Right, Ryan, you led me on to the nice bit there. So we were talking about Aurora's Encore, and obviously the memories you have with it. Do jockeys keep souvenirs? Do people in the racing world keep souvenirs?
Yes, for big races. Like after the Grand National, I kept the number cloth and the breeches and a race card. So I've got it all framed and got it on the house. And it's the same with any big winner you have. You try and keep the number cloth or keep a memento. But otherwise, you know, that's it. And unless if you come across something that's worth having, you just take it. Hope nobody catches you. You know, it's handy. Like I think some guys that, you know, they get on certain days they'll get everybody to sign the race card, you know, so they have a little memento of the day and things like that. So I'm not big into collecting things, but certainly the big winners that I've had, like with as I say with the Aurora's Encore's number cloth and things, that's all on the wall, and I'm getting the number cloth from Vintage Clouds winning at Cheltenham. I'm getting all that done as well. So they're nice things to have up on the wall so that people can see them. So.
Exactly, especially such impressive performances like Vintage Clouds one, because she came out of nowhere right at the end as well.
That was a great day. I never ever thought that I'd have a Cheltenham winner. And so to have one, you know, after coming out of retirement, you know, 18 months after coming out of retirement or whatever it was just, you know, absolutely out of this world. So yeah, that was definitely one worth remembering.
Oh no, it's a very easy one to remember. It's almost emotional watching it for exactly the reason that you said, especially with Scottish coverage being a bit more biased towards certain people.